Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today I just want to give you a little bit of an update. I did some pretty hard chops on some of my tropicals and subtropicals, money trees, Schefflera, Jades, blue Jacaranda, and of course Delonix regia, my first bonsai tree. So, anyways, today I figured I would give you a little bit of and our talk about ADD, our excuse me, pineapple guava forest that we've got. So while we're at halftime of the USA Netherlands soccer match in the World Cup, I figured I'd give you a little bit of an update on all those plants. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, so here we are in my plant room, and I put this old space heater in here in the winter because this is the only room in the house that does not have basement below it. So it actually is about 10 degrees colder when it is cold. So I just throw that in here. And between that and the curtain blocking the doggy door, so we don't get a draft, everything does pretty well. So why don't we start from the top with the Schefflera. I think I prune this first. So this is my Schefflera. That is on top of a lava rock, and also there's very coarse lava soil beneath it, sediment, whatever you want to call it. And so I gave it a hard prune, and as you see, all the new growth coming in on all the branches, so that's great. So it's looking like we're going to get a little lower branch there, and these are all looking good. So this was the only foliage I had left on the Schefflera, because when you're doing a hard prune, if you can leave a few leaves on one branch that like isn't bothering you, maybe the lowest branch that you want to thicken up the trunk to give you that nice taper, but if you can do it, do it. It definitely helps because it continues to gather energy while the rest of the branches are repairing and kicking out new growth. So that one successful. Got, well, here's a nice lemon tree. I got a really hard pruning this year because it was infested with scale and I was just tired of dealing with it. So we've got a nice low branch there. That's always exciting. One coming off here, and then this was the foliage that I left. So I'll probably, if I prune it this year, I'll probably take that part back and allow this all to come out together. But about 7 years on this trunk. So that's looking good. Now I've got my little baby Jades, a Jade in a duck pot. The only plant that has survived in here. I've tried Zelkovas, I've tried a bunch of different trees, and they always seem to die off, but this one's looking good. So that's kicking off nicely. Franny's that she entrusted in my care. That's looking good, that triple trunk. Love that look. And here is the star of my show, in my opinion. One of my first bonsais, just from like some Home Depot stock, and I trained to have that nice little triple divide. We got some good thickness on it this past year because I let it grow just like crazy mushroom, and then I defoliated and pruned hard, and this is my favorite. Almost like actually I'm about a week past where my favorite is, when they're just starting to come out. They got the little circles everywhere. You can see the whole branch structure and that new growth. That's so exciting. All right, right behind it, my oldest bonsai. So this is Delonix regia, my first failed wiring job. And right behind it is what I've been calling a Delonix regia, but I have since found out it is a blue Jacaranda. It was just in the wrong, it was wrongly labeled by the Planner's Choice Bonsai Grow Kit. So it had some horrific branching. It was just out of balance. So I went with this very hard prune, as you see. It's a lot of growth cut off, and boom, boom. We got a nice one coming off one side, another one there. And the branch that I did leave, which at the time was this tiny inferior branch, it's still green. So I know that's probably gonna bud out too. So be a nice, I'll probably won't touch this thing until I don't know, end of autumn again next year. I'll just let it grow wildly unless it's attacked by insects, which it seems to do often. So here we do have a Delonix regia, and this grew from one of the many seeds my buddy sent me from Florida, and it's looking great. Each of these 3 branches, 1, 2, and 3, they're all healthy, green at the tips, so they're going to start budding out shortly. This is the part that died back, so I'll cut that off eventually. But definitely alive and definitely going to thrive, so it's got a great start. I love that shape. Nice little irregular sway in the trunk, and then having 3 branches that low, that's just awesome. So really psyched about that. Let's see, panning back. Oh yeah, the money tree right to the right. I've given a slight update on this before, but as you see, we got buds on 1, buds on 2, and can you see that? Anyways, that's a bud too. So all 3 are alive, they survived, and that little beach-inspired planting is going to continue on, so totally cool. Yeah, I did this adenium, desert rose, and I repotted it, pruned it hard, it seemed to respond well. So I still haven't watered it. I'll probably water it this upcoming week. We're going on a little trip, first one since basically Barcelona, for honeymoon in March 2020. I did a few days in Puerto Rico with Franny, but as far as a family trip goes, first one in a while, so totally psyched about that. And since I've pruned this monster money tree that was just basically let to go in somebody's house, I've just dreamt about, you know, sawing this off, and getting it back to its original braided shape. So once it does kick off growth, I'm almost 160% certain I'm going to return it to its initial form, get it to just base trunks and the braided thing, the braided area, and then lop everything right there, flush, boom, boom, boom. And then I've just got a bunch of cuttings going. We got money tree cuttings, Schefflera cuttings, pencil cactus cuttings. Those are there. I've got jade cuttings here. I've got money tree cuttings here, the big long branches from that. That would be amazing to be able to root them. And then some bamboo cuttings. And you see those roots are already starting to fill the bottom of this vase. Bamboo, it's a lot of fun. If you're not working with it outdoors, it can be rough. So it looks like Wifey and Stella just pulled up. So I guess that'll do it for today's update. As you see, I made some really hard choices, big hard prunes, but they're all paying off. So if you're out there, you're beginning and you're afraid to prune your plants and really like get them started, you know, don't be. Worst case, you go to the nursery, you get another one. So I'm Jared Paul from the ranch and from my family to yours. Cheers.